Matchday -2 on LCFC TV and Facebook. Coming up on the show this afternoon, we'll preview the trip to Manchester City on Saturday in the Premier League. But first, we'll look back at a brilliant night at Goodison Park where Leicester secured their first semi-final in the League Cup since the year 2000.
Quarter-final time once again for Leicester City. Welcome to a packed-out Goodison Park for the last 8 of the League Cup. As Ricardo has it in the right wing position now. And he fires it into James Maddison outside of the right boot. Majestic! James Maddison with another very, very special strike in Leicester City colours. Here is Maddison looking to turn provider. It's flicked on and in! It's Johnny Evans! Leicester City have 2 in double quick time! Back to Richarlison, who crosses into Tom Davies, who scores with a volley from the penalty spot. And Everton do have one back. Helped out from Cenk Tosun to Leighton Baines on his left foot, 25 yards out! Oh, he's hit it into the top corner! Would you believe it? Maddison with the first of the penalty kicks. Here he comes, short stutter, saved by Pickford! Oh, brilliant save! Kasper Schmeichel makes himself big. Tosun misses, went the same way, Schmeichel saves! Here it comes from Leighton Baines, saved by Kasper Schmeichel. Again, he gets the right way. Jamie Vardy, here he comes, right-footed, scores! And Leicester City march on in the League Cup and into the semi-finals. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
Yes, an absolutely fantastic night on Merseyside. And to help dissect that, we've got 2 men in the studio today who were involved last time Leicester played a League Cup semi-final against Aston Villa. It is Gerry Taggart and Matt Elliott. Good afternoon, gents. Matt, you were obviously the hero last time Leicester played Villa in a League Cup semi-final, weren't you? And you're trying not to smirk now, aren't you? But,
we were all heroes. We were all heroes. 20 years ago, oh my word. But yeah, happy days, happy memories, and I'm sure it'll get mentioned a few times between now and when the semi-finals come along. But you know, it's about what the current crop of players are doing. I thought they were excellent last night. It ended up hard work. At the end, you know, they had to go through to the penalty stage, but even then I fancied them. They had more quality you know, throughout the evening, really. Everton got themselves back into it, credit for that. And Leicester would have been devastated if they'd let it slip from such a advantageous position. But you know, from the off, they were different gear really last night, for the majority of the game at least.
We'll look through all the goals and all the penalties, Gerry, but firstly, obviously, you were at Goodison Park last night. The moment Everton equalised and the atmosphere inside Goodison Park almost got the sense, oh, well, there's only going to be one winner at that stage in the penalty shootout because Everton had the momentum with them. So Leicester showed so much character, didn't they, in that shootout to put what had happened in the game behind them and go through like they did.
Yeah, no, sorry, and obviously after the first penalty was saved, James Maddison's penalty was saved as well. That put them under even more pressure, let's call it, than they were already under going into the penalty shootout. So, you know, you're absolutely right. The endeavour, the courage that the players showed to get over the line in that penalty shootout, you know. And it didn't matter what end they went to because they were surrounded by Everton supporters, so they were in a no-win situation. All that, they had to go out there and obviously do the business, and that's exactly what they did.
Some quality finishes as well,
big time. Under pressure.
After Maddison's miss, like you say.
And sticking to your guns like they did, you know, and such a young group of lads as well that took the penalty. So, you know, hats off to them.
I mean, Jamie Vardy, okay, he got the winner, and I love that penalty because he made out as if he was going to smash it down the middle, and he went to the side. But I think hats off to Demarai Gray for me. You know, I must admit, when he walked up, not so sure here. You know, the way it's gone for him lately, he comes on as substitute regularly, but hasn't hit any real rhythm to his game. But to step up there and finish like he did, top class.
You've both obviously watched Leicester week in, week out this season. That first half performance, barring maybe the Southampton game, Gerry, was that one of the best 45-minute performances Leicester have put in at the moment this season?
Controlling the game away from home, definitely. I think as well, the times that they did come under pressure from Everton, and what I mean by that was when they were playing out from the back and they had the, you know, the control, the composure, and the poise, and they were just picking Everton off. Everton looked to me, yes, they've been galvanised by Duncan Ferguson, but they just lacked that little bit of structure for me, and Leicester just picked them off at will at times when they were passing. So although the goals didn't reflect the performance of the first half, you've got to say that it's right up there.
And there was composure and poise, those two words that Gerry just used there, in the first goal. It was encapsulated really in that first goal from James Maddison, wasn't it, Matt? An absolutely brilliant finish after, yet again, another really well-worked move from the whole team.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they'd had the threat with Ricardo down the right-hand side prior to that, where Perez should have at least got the shot on target. Frustratingly, blazed it over the bar. But, you know, similar position, but different type of delivery. Love that variety about Ricardo's play. Good movement, good positioning by Maddison. The touch was excellent. Okay, took a little bobble off his knee, but he killed it. He pretty much stone dead. Enabled him to get the shot off. You know, small backlift, backed himself outside of the right foot.
This is where Ricardo's better than anyone in the league for me. He doesn't cross. He passes the ball into the box, and he picks out Maddison. Not an Everton player within 4 or 5 yards of him, and it's a 2-touch, 1-touch. So he touches it, and it comes off his knee and just sits lovely for him. But that is a top drawer finish from Maddison. But it's the way Ricardo finds players in the box with a pass. It's not just a whip cross all the time, even though we can do that. But he gets his head up and he fizzes a pass into your feet. And it just gives you so much time when you're on the ball, when you see a pass coming in at pace like that. And as long as your first touch is true, more often than not, you're going to get a chance to either have a shot or you know, move the ball on quickly.
How much composure, Gerry, does it take in the position James Maddison was in there? Once he'd had the touch that came off his knee, to think, I'm just going to hit this or caress this with the outside of the right foot?
How much time?
Composure.
Composure, yeah. Obviously, a lot. How much? Yeah. A lot of composure because, as I said, the ball's been fizzed in. It's a pass. It's not a cross, but there's a lot of pace on that. And as you've seen, he's got a little bit lucky, it has to be said, because it came off his foot to begin with, hit his knee and just dropped lovely for him. And then the rest is all, if you look at him, he has a look up, sees a keeper, where the keeper is, and then his next action is to hit it with the outside of his foot. So within 1 second, he's controlled it, looked up and shot. So that sort of tells you the composure and how your brain thinks, you know, computes what's actually happening right in front of you. So that's why it's a top class finish. To get that skill to be able to hit it with the outside of your right foot into the bottom corner, away from the keeper. Fantastic.
It shows you the confidence he's got in himself. You know, it's instinctive there. You know, if you sit there and think about that, maybe the chance gets closed down or whatever, and you start delaying it or whatever, but he's just there, bang, outside. I know I can do this.
I actually think if it had been closed down or there was a defender a little bit tighter, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to look up and see where the keeper was, but he would have been able to still have the time to get the shot off because his first touch was that good. Even though it was a little knock, it still dropped lovely for him. So then it drops down and then he hits it. He doesn't get time to look up, but because he had time to look up, he resets himself again and then strikes a clean strike into the bottom corner.
It wasn't set up for him to even really to strike it with his left foot. It was a little bit too central, so he automatically, you know, he's backed himself. They can go horribly wrong, those shots. You can get them slightly wrong and end up in the corner flag. But the player that Maddison is, You know, he backed himself to do that 9 times out of 10. It just comes naturally to him.
And things got even better just a couple of minutes later, of course, as they doubled their lead. Fantastic flick on at the near post, firstly, I have to say, from Jamie Vardy, and then Johnny Evans was there, Gerry.
Yeah, training ground, set piece.
We've seen a few of those recently as well.
And you just see where Jamie, he sort of runs from, you know, the near post area out to the edge of the 6-yard box, and that's a training ground, so he's not standing still in the box. The defenders are obviously thinking that he's going to make a backwards movement towards the middle of the goal, but he doesn't. He comes out, gets a flick on. Ben Chilwell's there with him.
Nearly got in each other's way there, actually.
And what Johnny Evans does really well, he just pushes the defender off him, so he's got 2-3 yards of space just to tap that in. So the defender's following the ball and not following Johnny Evans, which is a cardinal sin of defending. When you're marking in the box, forget about the ball, follow your man. And that's exactly what the Everton defender doesn't do. And Johnny just gives him a little nudge, says, see, I'm in the space, thank you very much.
So easy to do that from Keane's point of view, isn't it? Even with, you know, his relative experience there, but you track your man for a while, but you keep an eye on the ball.
You're always looking at the ball.
And he's sitting there thinking, right, okay, Vardy's going to win that, what's happening? Oh, too late. Goal. Like, if you can, stay as disciplined as you can with your runner, and then, you know, if the ball comes near you, then you do something about it. But
it's a natural instinct for a defender to follow the ball, because obviously they want to go and win it. But you can't. You have to. If you've got a man to mark, you have to stay with him until you see the flight of the ball and realise that it's in your vicinity, and you have to change like that. It's very difficult because the natural reaction is to follow the ball, but that was his downfall.
To make that decision as early as possible, don't you? Great delivery again from Maddison.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that, I mean, Johnny Evans now got 2 in 2 away games. Prolific, Gerry, from the back. But it's something that Brendan Rodgers said after the Villa game about the set pieces. It's something they actually have been working on the training ground. And you said there, it looked like another training ground goal.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell with the movement. You know, and it's all... Yes, the movement has to be right, but then the delivery has to be right. And you see the little hand signal from James Maddison, so everybody knows it's going to the near post for the flick on, and then obviously everybody else around that has to get the movement right, and it just came off, you know, and so you can just tell it's a training ground. We've similarly at Villa again. This time it was a direct pass straight onto Johnny's head, and again the movement of those players flummoxed the Villa defence, and it was a free header at the back post.
Yeah, they've got that variety now, Leicester, set-piece situations. They're not the biggest team in the world, but they can carry a threat. You know, they've got options. They go short sometimes, they go float one far, like you said, they'll go near post, they'll go for the direct header, they'll try and engineer an opening, and it keeps the opposition guessing.
Leicester obviously were in dreamland in that first half and at half-time. Obviously it did change in the second half. We'll have a look at those second half goals, as well as the penalties, and also previewing Manchester City on Saturday.
Saigon.
are an instinct that ignites action. We are a journey, taking one step more. And we are the heart that beats as one. We are proud to be more. De Montfort University, Leicester.
Welcome back to Matchday -2 here on LCFC TV, Facebook and Twitter. We've looked back at the first half against Everton last night, so let's do the second half now, guys. Obviously, it was a bit disappointing, wasn't it, in the sense that Leicester had dominated that first half so much, but Everton just started to edge back into the game, and both goals, in fairness, were very good goals from an Everton point of view. Firstly, the Tom Davies one.
Yeah, I mean, top-class finishes, weren't they? I think Leicester will rue the fact that they presented the ball to them too easily. Maddison losing possession. I think Chilwell, on reflection, could have got tighter, and perhaps they were getting a little bit, not sloppy, but a little bit too comfortable in the game, really. But sooner or later, something was going to drop Everton's way, wasn't it? They're going to try and increase the pressure, although I think Leicester kept it to a minimum, overall, really. Kasper Schmeichel was quite severely underworked for the majority of the night. Couldn't do anything with the goals. But that aside, I thought Everton were poor, and I heard Duncan Ferguson say afterwards it was Leicester's first half, our second half. Yes, in terms of scoreline, but again, I thought second 45, Leicester were the better side again. The more composed, the more complete. Albrighton's strike that hit the bar, that would have made it game, set and match, done and dusted there and then. And there were other opportunities. Pratt got in. I don't know where that's come from. Got into positions that perhaps could have and should have done better. Maddison himself as well. It was all looking good for Leicester, and even after conceding the goal from Davies, you didn't really see Everton equalising, and the Bain strike was out the blue. They were a little bit sloppy on a couple of occasions in terms of not tracking Davies when he scored, and also slow to close down Baines. Those two instances aside, one or two balls into the box, that was it. That's all they had to deal with, and I thought Everton were extremely fortunate to take it to penalties, really.
Yeah, they looked relatively comfortable, didn't they, Leicester? Even at 2-1, Gerry, they were keeping Everton out. They put four strikers on the pitch at one point to try and score. Never really looked like scoring until obviously Leighton Baines stepped forward like that.
Yeah, I think, listening to Brendan last night in his post-match interview, he said he thought Leicester let the game come to them instead of, taking control with the changes he made. And just quickly going back, great strike from Baines, but again, there's nobody within, 1-2, and he's got 10 yards, 5 to 10 yards to run with that ball before he strikes it. You've got to get out quicker and make his mind up. Going back to the first goal, again, a natural instinct for a defender is to defend the goal. And when you see Tom Davies on the edge of the box, you've got to release one of your defenders. I thought Ben Chilwell actually did well because he made them play the ball out. He made it towards the edge of the box and not round in that gap.
Yeah, do you not think those times when he had his back turn?
Yeah,
don't let him turn. I believe let him turn.
He's got to do better, but he stopped the cross coming in near post, so it's got to go back to the edge of the box. And what you've got to do as the defender, if you're not marking anybody, or there's nobody in there, or you see everybody set, you have to release yourself and go and put pressure on the ball. And it was exactly the same for both goals. There was no pressure on the ball when the ball came in the box, obviously, for the first one. And the second one, Baines had got too much time to take the ball forward and get the shot off.
Yeah, Leicester adopted the back three then, hadn't they, centre halves. And it just looked like the midfield got dragged over too far. The Hamza Chowdhury was the right-hand side of the 3/4 in midfield at that stage of the game. Should have just given himself a bit of space, might have closed down early.
I think that's where Brendan was saying about the game. They were letting the game come to them just to see what happened, because he made the substitutions, bringing an extra centre-half, bringing a defensive midfielder on. Everybody's thinking, well, they'll sort it all out. And slowly but surely, they kept going back towards their own goal. And it was Everton huffed and puffed, and he scored 2 goals. There was no real creativity, no real structure to their play. But somehow, you've got to give them credit. They scored 2 goals and got themselves back in the game.
And then the atmosphere, obviously, Matt, was absolutely rocking just before the penalty shootout. It seemed that the Toffees had all the momentum behind them. We'll look through the penalties now, and especially after that first one with James Maddison as well, you just thought, oh dear, here we go again after what had happened the last couple of seasons as well.
Yeah, you do start to worry. I mean, slightly not resentful, but I thought Everton were fortunate to get themselves in the position they were, but they were. So you got to deal with it, and you think, like you say, the crowd quite partisan, and everyone's cheering. Maddison goes straight up. One of your main men misses. You think, oh, what's happening? This was vital, I think, to go and save straight afterwards.
How good of a save is this?
It's a good save. I mean, it's reasonably well struck. I think it was slightly telegraphed where it was going, wasn't it? In a perfect height, it wasn't high or low. It's where Schmeichel's going. You'd expect to save it if he's going the right way.
I think what Kasper does really well is when he makes his mind up, he commits to it.
Pickford also, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and whereas here, for that one, Pickford, he's sort of in between, and that's why he doesn't make a dive one way or the other, because he's like, Shalashanta. For the first one he did. But if you watch Kasper's 2 saves, his mind's made up on the run-up, and if you watch it, bang, he's off. He doesn't mess about. He doesn't go one way and then go the other. If he puts it in the opposite corner bins, Kasper's still going that way.
Yeah.
And you can call it luck, whatever you want, but it's educated luck. There's a bit of science behind what he's doing.
And that one save there, that was so vital, wasn't it? Because obviously they both missed the first one, they'd cancelled each other out, but then when Ben Chilwell scored and Kasper saved that one, that really gave Leicester the edge in the shootout.
Yeah, of course, and Baines is their main penalty taker, isn't he? Ordinarily. Fancied him all day long, I have to say, and it was a weak penalty, comfortably saved by Schmeichel. But he always comes up with the goods, doesn't he? Penalty shootouts, certainly.
He did it at Newcastle.
And even I don't know if my memory serves me correctly or not, but even against Man City, he saved 1 or 2, didn't he? He did his job. I don't know. I might be
Danny Ward played that.
Well,
last season.
See, my memory is messing about then. There we go. But certainly this season, Schmeichel, you're confident when he's between the sticks in a penalty shootout, aren't you? As I was last night, not just because Schmeichel's in goal, but the quality of penalty takers that Leicester
I love
have.
all the mind games before where he walks out and he's chatting away and his hands are wide, making the goals smaller.
But he does it. He does it. In a reasonable way, not too outlandish. But I also quite liked it because when Everton goalkeeper Pickford. When he saved the first one, you see him, he thought he was proper Jack the Lad, didn't he? He thought this is done and dusted now, and got a little bit carried away with himself and didn't really get near many others, did he?
Next up was Ricardo. Gerry stepped up, and again, you think of penalty takers. I don't think many people had doubts Ricardo was scoring here.
Yeah, no, absolutely great penalty. In his run-up, you don't know which way he's going here, because you think he's going to put it to the keeper's left. He obviously goes the opposite way. And again, Pickford can't make his mind up which way he's going. Or you see Kasper again. He makes his mind up, yes. Holgate sends him the wrong way, but at least he's made his mind up.
Demarai Gray, another vital one, Matt, this.
Yeah, no, excellent. I mean, it's difficult going that side, because if you go the other side, the ball's going away from the keeper. There's that natural curve on the strike, and Pickford, he's read it, but Demarai Gray, enough quality on the strike to bypass.
Now, this is the weirdest run-up. I thought he was diving into a pool when I seen him do that. But good penalty. Watch it again here.
To be fair, it gives. I mean, Schmeichel has gone the right way, but it gives you no indication in the run-up which way you're going. It's just. I think that's the reason he does it, and you don't get as much power, but the keeper gets less time to react, even though Schmeichel did read it.
And then Leicester saved their normal penalty taker till the end. The last spot kick, the fifth one.
Never in doubt, was it? Never
again,
in doubt.
If you watch Jimmy's run-up, you don't really know as a keeper what way he's going to put it, because it's a pretty straight run-up.
Looks to me like a smash down the middle.
Exactly. So, and obviously, again, the keeper indecisive in which way he's going to go, and it's an easy finish in the end, even though it's not, because the pressure is immense.
What did that winning penalty and winning last night mean for Leicester City? Because as we've talked about, the first semi-final since 2000, a lot of those players had missed out the last 2 seasons at the exact same stage on penalties. You could see at full time the release of emotion from the players. What's it meant to the club, that win last night?
Well, for the players, it's meant they get what they deserved, because I think they've been excellent from the very outset in this competition, as they have been for most of the season, in whatever competition they're involved in. But yeah, I mean, they were the better side last night, and they'll be delighted, yeah, because some of these players have achieved the incredible. They've won the Premier League, but they'll still be delighted to be involved in the semi-final, whatever the competition. And there's nothing like it if they can get themselves through, which quietly you fancy them to do, get themselves through to a Wembley final. It's another.
That's where it'll hit home.
Yeah,
walking out of Wembley.
Another little tip in the box for the club, isn't it?
Yeah, if they get there. But they're making all the right noises at the minute.
Long overdue.
Yeah,
an official Wembley appearance for this club. It used to be a
regular thing for you guys,
season ticket, didn't it? But no, it's great to see. Well, not getting ahead of ourselves with Wembley, but just to be involved at this end of the competition is great for them, and they're going to give it their all, and they won't let people down as well, because they're accustomed to playing at this level. The standard football they're playing, you fancy them strongly, don't you?
Yeah, before that, though, there's obviously lots of Premier League games to be played. There's one on Saturday, of course, at the Etihad, Gerry, and we'll look at the league table in just a moment. It's a massive game, isn't it? What will Leicester be thinking going into that one?
Well, they've got to be full of confidence, Forget about what happened last week against Norwich. That happens in football. You can't go full tilt for 38 games. They showed a great reaction last night at Everton, and so they go into this game, full of confidence. And and I've been on record as saying before, at the minute, I can't see them getting beat, and it doesn't matter who they play. Whether it's Man City away or Liverpool at home coming up, they're having a, they're here, there, and everywhere at the minute. Liverpool, aren't they? Well, on their travels. So again, but obviously Man City are a quality team. We know that, and they had a great result the other day against Arsenal. But Leicester have to go into that game feeling and believing that they can get a result, and because that's what I feel. So the players must be buzzing in the dressing room now after last night. That just wipes away that mini disappointment of not beating Norwich. But I don't think it was a disappointment. I think it was in the end it was a decent point. So full of confidence going into that game.
What do you think, Matt? Do you agree that they'll go into the game with Man City thinking they can certainly get something at the end?
Yeah, well, it's huge little period, isn't it? The game last night, and obviously the two big league games coming up. If they were all to go in a negative fashion, then there's a whole different complexion on the season. But the way Leicester are going, I'm with Gerry. I fancy them to certainly go and compete on an even keel. The performance back in the last season when Company got the winner, something like that, along those lines, but take it that stage further in the final third. They've got more variety, more options to their play, more depth to their game now, and I think they can really go and hurt Man City at the weekend.
Man City will have to score more than one goal to win this game. Let's put it like that.
Well, hopefully you're right, Gerry. You can, of course, listen to it on LCFC Radio on Saturday. It's a 5:30 kickoff. That means our coverage starts at 2:30. But before that, the under-23s are in action tomorrow evening on LCFC TV. They're absolutely flying at the moment, so certainly worth watching then. And then on Monday, of course, you can listen to Extra Time, where we'll assess and diagnose that win over... Well, hopefully that win over Manchester City. Getting well ahead of ourselves there. We'll hear the predictions from you guys, though, ahead of the Man City game, please.
Right. 1-1.
1-1.
2-2.
2-2. So draws, but that would be a good result, you have to say, for Leicester.
Yeah.
And I'm on the side of caution. I'm paying Man City the respect they deserve, but I wouldn't be surprised if Leicester win it.
Yes, Leicester City against Manchester City, of course, at the Etihad on Saturday. Tune in to LCFC Radio from 2:30. But thank you very much for watching LCFC TV's Matchday -2.